welcome back to the Samantha Show. I'm your host, Samantha. You can call me Sam, just don't call me Sammy. And I am doing a post-pageant breakdown episode here today. I shared with you guys kind of the prep leading up to this big weekend, this new adventure that I'm on. And now I'm going to kind of let you know how that experience and how that weekend went for me and mentally where I'm at and just kind of what that whole experience looked like. So before we dive into it, 3 things you need to know. And this is kind of like a crossover. It's like pageant related, but also applicable to everyday life. So the first thing that you need to know is hydration is key to success in life. Okay. It's so important to stay hydrated. And if I do say so myself, I'm quite pleased with how on top of staying hydrated I was all weekend. And I really have to credit that, I think, to just my experience with Cycle Bar, doing camp cycle bars where we're riding, we're staying busy all weekend long. But like, if you're not drinking water constantly when you're like in motion and you have these big events, like you're gonna start to feel it, right? You're gonna start to feel run down. You're gonna start to feel not good. It's just so important to be drinking water all the time. And when life gets busy and you have like a big weekend, whether it's a pageant or it's a workshop or you're traveling, hello, you got to drink that water. So just get in that good habit. You're setting yourself up for success. It helps prevent headaches, right? Helps prevent you from feeling extra tired. So stay hydrated, drink your water, get in the habit. Don't skip out on it. Okay. Coffee doesn't count as water. Okay. I know, because I drink a lot of coffee. Okay. Coffee doesn't count. Drink your water. The second thing you need to know: set your boundaries when you need time and space to chill out, right? So when I first started this weekend, I'm going to walk you through my whole weekend because it was just absolutely fabulous. But I have learned over the last couple of years, especially with my experience, again, with Cycle Bar, I feel like my Cycle Bar has taught me so much about life, how important it is to set boundaries and to set time aside where you can mentally decompress, quiet yourself, quiet your thoughts. And when I went into this weekend, right out of the gate, I didn't have a lot of that. And I realized that I was going to need to find ways to implement that time and space for myself if I was going to, be successful and be sane, not lose my mind. Just so important to step aside. And that means sometimes having to politely tell people like, hey, I want to chat with you. I'm going to chat with you in a little bit. But right now I'm kind of in the zone, chilling out. And I had to say that a couple of times this weekend, just because there's a lot of things happening, a lot of moving pieces, a lot of people running around. And so, it's okay to set some time and space and just to politely say, hey, I'm here taking some time for myself right now. I want to engage in conversation with you, but a little bit later. And so it's okay to do that. And it's okay to step away if you need to. Even for 5 or 10 minutes can change everything. So not just like in your pageant experience, listen to me. I'm like, let me advise you on how to do pageantry. I've done one. No, but I just mean like in life, it's okay because life gets chaotic. Events get chaotic. It could be your wedding day, right? Like it's okay to step away and say, I just need a couple minutes by myself, couple minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever that looks like for you. If you can work that in, I think it's really important to set those boundaries and take that time for yourself just to breathe and chill out and like recenter focus. Okay. So do that. Set some time aside for yourself when you need it, even if it's just during the work day. The third thing you need to know: when you are on a stage, it could be a pageant stage, it could be like a performance stage, whatever, you can't see anything. You cannot see anything. Those lights are so bright. You can't see faces. It looks like a dream. Like if you look out there with the lights, like everything's just kind of a blur. You can kind of see heads, but there are no faces. Those stage lights are so bright. So I feel like that kind of helps though, like if you're performing on a stage, whether you're in a play, you're in a pageant, you're in a show, like whatever it may be, you can't see anyone. It looks like a dream anyway. So maybe we channel that, we embrace that, we let that kind of help our nerves anytime we're on stage, we're performing. It's kind of like that at the old CB as well, where, I can look out, I see my people in the room, but if it's like on spotlight on us, it's harder to see the people in the back unless I turn the lights up. So you can't see anything on a stage. I know that's such like a lame thing you need to know, but if you've never been on a stage, maybe you do need to know. Maybe that'll help calm your nerves if you're getting ready to get into something new that involves performing at the big stage and lots of lights. You can't see ish from there. Okay, that's the third thing you need to know. Honestly, I just wanted to bust through those really, really quick because I just want to tell you guys about the weekend. Truly, that's what you really need to know. You need to know what this experience was like and where we go from here. Okay. All right. So we did it. We did it. So I competed in my first ever pageant over Labor Day weekend, Captivating Pageants. I was in the Mrs. division and I won first runner up. And I'm so excited and honored to have received that award and that placement. And our new national Mrs. Captivating Solange, she was Mrs. Georgia. She's so deserving, beautiful, incredibly talented and accomplished woman. And I'm so excited to watch what she does with this next year. And it really was truly an incredible experience. And it was just so much fun. So I'm just going to kind of break down what that weekend looked like mentally, what that experience was like for me, and just kind of share with you. I don't know. Are you curious? Maybe, maybe not. If you're here today, you got to have some kind of interest. So it was a really great weekend. It was a busy weekend. It was a chaotic weekend. It was interesting because I felt like the whole weekend, my brain never shut off, like almost never shut off. So I had a really hard time disconnecting. I had a really hard time throughout the weekend sleeping, really even leading up to that weekend, but especially that weekend, like getting sleep at night was very challenging. I had ZQuil, which I took, but I also didn't want to not trying to OD on ZQuil and then be groggy, right? It was like a fine balance of keeping my mind sharp and getting the sleep that I need to keep my mind sharp. So it was busy. It was a bit stressful. The nerves, the pressure that I felt was up there on the times in my life where I've felt that amount of pressure. I mean, you've been working for however many months for this weekend to compete for this title. And it's here it is. How is this going to go? How's this going to go down? Right. And, there can only be one winner and there's all of these incredible women. So it was a lot of pressure over, the weekend and leading up to it, but just so much fun. And we kicked off the weekend. So we kicked off the weekend with the Captivator Awards. It was a Friday night event. It's kind of like a dinner where all of the contestants get to come. They can bring their family members. We have dinner. We get to dance a little bit, and they give out these Captivator Awards. So we have we had a social media expectation and prompt that was leading up to the pageant weekend. And so we got some awards. Some awards were given out to different people for their charity work, their most supportive person, just kind of these different awards. And I'm really excited to share that I received the Brand Influencer Award, just kind of for aesthetic on the page and the post, as well as just kind of sticking to your brand. It feels very on par for me. I love creating a brand and maintaining a brand. It was one of my favorite parts of starting my tanning business, as weird as it is, was building my website, putting together my branding. What is the view? What is it going to look like? I just truly enjoy that aspect of anything, is creating the brand. And I'm even working on kind of what my brand is as a pageant competitor, finding some consistency, even if I choose to compete across other systems. So that's been fun. So I really enjoy that. So I'm really honored that I got recognized for that because it means a lot to me, and I'm very passionate about that brand consistency, appearance, and what that looks like. So really excited to have received that awards. There were a lot of really great awards given out, and it was just a really fun way to get to connect with these other women before we head into the weekend, to start to build those friendships, to start to find your crew. And it really was just that. So that's what we kicked off Friday night with. Pretty chill, pretty casual. Well, I say casual in the sense that like low pressure, but we were dressed to the nines, right? Looking good with our crowns on. I had that hot pink jumpsuit, if you saw it on social media, which was so much fun. It was my Barbie moment for the weekend, and we just had a really great time. Saturday kicked off our registration and orientation, and that was a lot of fun because that's when we get to go down. We get to learn about how the weekend is going to go, how that flow is going to go. Truly, Saturday for me felt like a ton of fun. It kind of reminded me of like cheerleading camp back in the day, because after the morning registration orientation, then we had rehearsal from like 1 to 6:30. And it just took me back. We're like learning our opening number routine. We're learning the process flow, how we get on stage, what the walk patterns are, all of this information that you need for the big show on Sunday. And it just reminded me so much of cheerleading camp. And we got to bond. I got to bond with the other women and the girls in the different divisions. And so I had a lot of fun. It was an exhausting day, but to me, there was just not a lot of pressure that day because we were learning and embracing, and it was a little bit more casual in the afternoon, with leggings and t-shirts. So it just felt very comfortable to me. I feel like on Saturday was when I really got to bond with a lot of these women and get to know them and kind of make those friendships that I was really excited to experience throughout this whole pageant process. So Saturday was fun. It was a long, long day, but it was an enjoyable day. And I had a great time. And then my family came into town on Saturday. My mom and dad, they brought Gracie. Joe was already with me. And we all went out to dinner. And that was a really nice mental break for me to step away from the pressure of the pageant weekend and just to get to be with my favorite humans in the entire world. So I'm so glad that my parents got to come up. Gracie got to be there. Joe was there. And we just had this amazing dinner, Italian dinner. And it was just really, really nice to disconnect from the whole experience. That really brings us to Sunday, which is the day. It's the day. Right? The morning started off with interviews, and then we had the big pageant in the afternoon, evening. I feel like when I woke up on Sunday, really throughout the whole weekend, if I'm being completely honest, I had a lot of trouble eating. Like consciously, I would feel okay, but my body was like not hungry at all. And I actually had heard from some of the other women that some actually got physically ill, got sick just because the nerves and the pressure are that intense. And I know that sounds crazy and sounds wild, but it really was hard to eat at all. However, I knew that food is fuel, right? Just like water is fuel, you have to eat. So I felt like the whole weekend I was force feeding myself food. And I tried to just do bland foods that I could get down. I tried to stick to get some protein in, really important. And then just have, whatever I could, some granola bars. I like clementines were hitting right for me. So I was eating those whenever I could. And so, but it was wild to how little appetite I had the whole weekend. I don't know that I've ever experienced where I've just, unless I've been actually sick, not interested in eating. Like I'm always interested in eating, but the pressure was there, man. Like the nerves were there. So woke up on Sunday, very little appetite, forced myself to eat some eggs and bacon, tried to eat like a little bit of toast. So that's where I was at mentally. It's like, just eat for fuel, Samantha. Let's get through this. And that morning, I in true Samantha fashion, I feel like most of the weekend I was very like, bouncing off the walls, all the energy, which is very like me. But that morning, I felt like I really started to get in the zone and had to just it was about finding that space and mentally focusing and calming myself down. For me, the prep was there. It was done. my biggest hurdle throughout the weekend and going into Sunday, I knew was going to be controlling my anxiety and my emotions, which is where I can start to slip just because I'm so easily overwhelmed with all types of emotions. And I was definitely feeling all of those emotions. So finding that time and space to breathe, to calm down was really important to me. I actually listened. The first thing I did on Sunday when I woke up, when I felt ill to my stomach and just really kind of feeling the nerves hit, I listened to my podcast episode with myself and Maddie because it was just so lighthearted and it was fun. It was even before the episode had aired. I just had the recording on my phone and I listened to it, and I was really reaching for anything that would distract me from what was at hand. I think I checked my work email, like really checking my work email the day of the pageant, but like I almost needed that distraction because I was starting to overthink the day, and I definitely did not want to do that. So try to keep myself busy in the morning, went into hair and makeup. They did a beautiful job with my hair and makeup, but we were getting to the point with timing where they asked if I wanted to go get my clothes and bring it back down to change down there. And I shared at the beginning, like, you have to take the mental time and space for yourself. And so, I set that boundary and I let them know that if at all possible with the time, I really wanted the time to go back to my room and just chill for a second. And I knew I needed that time, not because I needed that space to put my dress on, but because I needed that space to like recenter and refocus before walking into interview, because I didn't want to feel kind of the chaos and pressure of going straight from hair and makeup right into my dress, like in a bathroom, right into interview. Sometimes you can't help that, right? With timing, and it is what it is. And that's how you handle the pressure. And how do you handle the pressure? But the option was there. And so we navigated it and it worked out. And I'm so glad. And they did a beautiful job with hair and makeup. And we had some last minute changes with my hair right before I went into interview with my coach, but it was for the best. And so I went down there to get ready to go into interview. Oh my God, man. I can get on a stage. Like, a stage does not bother me. Speaking on a podcast does not bother me. But I feel like the vulnerability that you feel in a very quiet room with I think there were 5 judges, but there were maybe 6 or 7 people in the room, all sitting at a table in front of you and you standing in front of them, like the pressure. Oh, that was like a different type of nerves for me. And, but every single time, but this is why I love this experience and opportunities like this. Those moments make you such a better person. They make you more confident. They force you into this very uncomfortable situation that I truly believe you come out of it so much stronger, more confident. Like, I want to do that interview like again and again and again. Not even with the same questions. Like, I want to feel that intensity and that pressure, because I know every time I step into that situation, I'm coming out of it better, stronger, more able to control my anxiety and my emotions, all of the things. But anyway, so I go in there and, they're asking me questions off my bio, which I know all the answers to, right? So it's truly just telling my story based on the questions that they ask. And I feel like the interview conversations went well. I feel like the quality of my answers was good. I was a little disappointed in myself. Like, I knew you could hear the nerves in my voice, and that's so like not a Samantha thing, like I'm a very confident person, especially with like speaking and stuff like that. So I was a little frustrated that you could probably hear the nerves in my voice, but that's natural, right? And that's where we get better every single time. They did, however, ask me, about my coach, Ryan, because Ryan was a former title holder, the first Mrs. for the captivating pageant system. And so we had to answer who our which former title holder was like the most influential to us. And so they asked me about Ryan, and which I was then given the opportunity to share the dress story, which if you don't know what the dress story is, then you need to go back to my other podcast episode of Confessions of a First Time Pageant Queen, so you know what I'm talking about. But I got to share that story, which naturally brought me to emotion again, in addition to, I think, the intensity of the situation there. I feel like I was able to control my emotions somewhat, but it was just kind of a lot. The whole thing was kind of crazy to me. Just the experience, it goes by so fast. You kind of black out the whole time. But not long after that question, it was my time and I was done and I gave my parting line and then I walked out. And the minute I walked out of that interview room, I just broke down in tears for no reason. Like not. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, are you okay? Like, I was like, yeah, I just SHIT. I don't think we cuss on this show. That was so intense. It was like the intensity and like the pressure that I had felt all morning leading into that interview just like poured out of my eyes like waterworks. And I literally was not crying for like any positive or negative. It was like anxiety tear, emotional pressure tear, relief. That part was done. I've never experienced anything like that. Holy moly. So that was great. God, that makes you a better person, right? And it truly does. So, but it was intense. But the nice thing was that piece was then done. So I had a little bit of time then to go back. I got to meet with my mom. I spent like 30 minutes or an hour with my mom, kind of rehashing the interview. Still a little bit of emotional again, just like the pressure being relieved at that point in time. So that was great to see my mama. She helped me, change then into my opening number dress. We had some time. I went to get some lunch, some food. I got a cheese quesadilla. I ate one piece and my body was like, nah, please do not put any more food into you right now. Again, I think just like subconsciously it was very difficult for me to eat. So I had a granola bar that sounded a little bit better. And then it was time to run through opening number rehearsal, one more time, dress rehearsal, and take some photos. And then it was go time. The show itself was about 3.5 hours, maybe. So it was a little bit long. For me, it went by so freaking fast, right? Because we're like running and then we're back and we're changing and we're back and all of these things. And it was a blast. It was so much fun. So we started with opening number, which is kind of like this dance. So after opening number, we walk up to the microphone and we get to introduce yourself, right? So I'm like, Samantha Redden, Mrs. Gym City, or whatever over the mic. And, I speak on a microphone all the time. So I was very confident for that piece of it. But then I got so nervous. I think like in hindsight, the biggest thing with my performance, if we're going to call it performance or execution of what I did throughout the weekend, I wish I wouldn't have been so nervous because I know I can do this. Like, I feel like this is an industry that I can do quite well in. So I was a little disappointed that I just maybe the nerves were as strong as they were, but it's new, right? So that's like to be expected. So I walked up to the mic, I gave my little intro. I wish I could have added a little more. I'm also too, here's the problem with me. I cry. Like, I cry all the time, and not sad tears. Like, we are not talking sad tears. I cry overwhelming tears. I cry happy tears. I cry like emotional, like just the excitement tears. Like, I'm just always on the brink of crying because I just like, I don't know. That's me, folks. You know that if you know me. So, I mean, when I was walking up to like give my name, I was like fighting tears. Like, I was just so excited that this moment was here and just overwhelming. So we do the intro. Check this. I'm literally getting ready to walk off the stage and I slipped. I know you just went, I know. Yeah, that's what I went. Caught myself, did not fall, but my feet slipped. And I feel like that moment played into the rest of my stage presence, because then I was worried I was going to fall later on in the show. There was just a couple slippery parts on the stage, and it's just natural, right? Like just kind of where things were and stuff. But I think that then I was like, oh, I really could slip in my heels, which is like, I never thought that I would, because I felt confident enough walking in my shoes. But when that happened, I was like, oh crap, I'm going to have to like keep that in mind, that don't fall. So I didn't like, it wasn't anything dramatic, but I felt it slip and caught myself on my feet. And that I think then shook me a little bit. So we did opening number. We came back then for fitness, which was fun and really where I felt the most comfortable, probably because I had on my tennis shoes and my Lululemon outfit, which was this beautiful poolside blue. And we had added some rhinestones to it. Had a great time. That's when you get to kind of like perform on stage and show up. Then we had our fun fashion. And again, that's when I started to put heels on. So had a good time with it. And every time I walked out on the stage, I felt better. Right? Like I felt like more comfortable with the stage piece of it. Like every time I stepped on the stage, the nerves were a little bit less. Then it came time for evening gown. And I walk out on stage in evening gown. And I'm standing there and I'm thinking about like evening gown and walking, and the music is different in evening gown, right? Oh, so I should tell you, when I was on stage for fun fashion, guess what song was playing? Break My Soul by Beyonce. Like, how perfect of a song for fun fashion, right? It was clutch. And then I go out on stage for evening gown. And I'm like thinking about walking and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I recognize this song. I know this song. And then it hits me that it's Lauren Daigle, Thank God I Do. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that song is a very important song to me. Very important song to me. And it's a very important song between myself and my beautiful friend, Maddie, who was on the show last week, who was in the crowd. And as soon as I heard that song, I was like, oh, no. Oh, no. I knew that it was going to be hard as hell to not cry. But it also felt like such a divine moment for me. You know, if you've listened to my episodes, if you go all the way back to trusting timing, that I believe that there is a path, there are doors that open, there are timing, and there is purpose, right? I believe in God, and I believe in God's plan for each and every single one of us, whether or not we know what that is. And I have believed throughout this process that Kristen, who was Mrs. Ohio America 2021, came into my class at Cycle Bar because this door was supposed to open for me. I truly believe that. And I believe that I'm headed down this path for a reason that I may not even fully understand yet. And when that song came on that stage, it felt like that confirmation. So I turn around and look, for evening gown, my evening gown heels are the tallest out of all of them. Probably the pair of shoes I feel the least comfortable in. I need to spend more time in those. But I'm walking and I'm just like fighting tears. I could have lost it there. Again, just this overwhelming culmination moment of the last 8 months and really what's coming up, what is coming next. Like just this beautiful moment of this is where you're supposed to be right now. This is a path you're supposed to be on. And just very excited for like what's happening. So I'm like walking around as soon as I get to the end of the runway. And you remember I told you cannot see anything in the lights. I knew in my heart that my beautiful friend Maddie was only meters, yards away from me. And I knew she knew what I was thinking. I just had this moment where I was like, even though I couldn't see her, I know we had a moment together, and we did because I talked to her afterwards, that this song was playing. It was kind of a reflection on our friendship. It was a reflection on this journey that I'm on. And I get to the end of the runway and I couldn't anymore. Couldn't hold it in. The tears came. Here I am in my evening gown, like crying on stage. Still smiling though, baby. Still smiling, you know. But it was honestly, it was a beautiful moment. And I felt beautiful. I shared the whole like learning to love myself. It was really great. And man, I would never change that for the world. It was really, really awesome. I wish I could have controlled my emotion a little bit more, but you know what? It was so exciting to be there. The feelings were so real. I was just so grateful for all of it. Grateful to God that He has sent me down this path. Grateful to see where it's going to go. And so it was a beautiful moment to a beautiful song with beautiful people in the room that means so much to me. So that evening gown moment was probably the highlight of the whole weekend for me. So anyway, we go off the stage and then we get to hang out in the back room and we wait for crowning, and it's done, right? Like whatever way this goes, it's done. And we had a good time hanging back there with the girls, and I was eating beef sticks, and we're like unzipping our dresses so that we can breathe, like fit more food in. Cause at that point, then I was like hungry, right? Cause like I hadn't like eaten anything all day. So I was like scarfing down like 2 granola bars, like a chomp stick, like some clementines, and they take a break while they're tallying scores. And then we got to go back and go up on stage. And I knew walking onto that stage for awards that I wasn't going to win the title. Call it divine intervention, whatever. I knew standing on that stage that I did not get the title. I knew it in my heart. And I'm a big believer in visioning yourself winning and all that stuff too. But it was overwhelmingly new that I didn't get it. And I'm kind of glad that I knew that, because it gave me time to process before I had to actually stand up there and like experience that. But it was still so much fun, and it was really exciting to see just everybody winning their titles, to be a part of that awards piece. And I felt like the pressure was gone for me, and I could just really reflect and be present in that whole experience. I feel really grateful that I was first runner up. So grateful. I'm so happy with that placement. So excited for Solange, who, if I'm going to be completely honest, I knew getting into this, as soon as I connected with her on social media, I knew she was going to be a tough competitor, like in the sense that, I mean, she was bringing it. She's a full package, and, and she's very much deserving of that. And I'm very excited for her. So, I knew that, and I am very at peace and very happy with how that all played out for us there at the end. We also had Captivating has this title called the National or Captivating Ambassador. And this is, if you don't win a title in your division, everybody else is up for this Captivating Ambassador title. And it is the premier title. It is voted on by a board of people related to the pageant system. And so you're up against everybody, teen, Miss, Ms., Mrs., and they nominate 3 people and then 1 person gets it. And I'm so grateful and honored to have been nominated for that award. So it was myself, it was Elizabeth, she was Miss Canada, and then my girl, Mrs. Midwest, Chris, who, again, if you go back and listen to my other podcast episodes, you know how I feel about Chris. So it was the three of us to be nominated. I did not expect to be nominated at all. When they were announcing people, I was kind of shocked. That was probably the most shocking piece of the whole weekend. So I really felt so happy and just grateful that my name came up out of all the contestants there to be considered for this title. And then my girl, Chris, won it. Perfect outcome because she deserves it more than anybody in that entire system. I said what I said. And she really is an incredible human. And I don't think anybody would debate that with me because everybody else feels the same way as I do. And so it was so beautiful because I love this woman to not only get to see her receive this award, but to be right there when she got it. So I could give her the biggest hug and experience that with her. So it was just such an amazing time and weekend. But boy, is it addicting. When do we get to do it again? You know, coming down the pageant hangover, it actually wasn't too bad for me. I mean, I actually felt terrible on Monday, like legit hungover. I had a headache. My stomach hurt. Like, I think just not eating right and not eating normal and like not sleeping and this stress. But after yesterday, I woke up on Tuesday feeling really pretty good. So, and the itch to do it again. And all of my friends in the cycle bar community, you can tell all my new friends in the pageantry community what happens when Samantha gets told not right now, right? We come back stronger, better, more prepared, hustle harder, work harder than ever before. And that is my mindset right now. I have a plan. She's got a plan. She's got a goal, and will likely be looking to compete in a different system. And I'm so excited to share more about that as plans develop and we get through these next couple of months. But this feels 100% like the path, the outcome, the journey that God intended for me 9 months ago when he sent Kristen to Cycle Bar. We are excited, folks. You should get excited for what's coming. And I'm excited, folks. So here's my reminder to you as we wrap this episode up. It's all about the journey and the experience. And I have already made so many great friendships. I have felt a type of love and companionship that is just absolutely beautiful and is supportive woman to woman, which in this world, we need that. We need a lot of that love, that women hype you up, love yourself. You're beautiful. The way the support showed for the title winners and the people who didn't win the titles, and the hugs and the zipping of dresses and unzipping of dresses and the sharing of beef sticks and pepperonis and just all of the things. It was such an incredible experience. You can't not get addicted to it. It's a sisterhood. I know that sounds crazy, but a family, certainly with captivating pageants. And I think it's a wonderful system that people who want to test this out, it's just such a loving and supportive system that I think it's a great place to go and get into and try out pageantry if that's what you want. Or even if you have done other systems, I strongly recommend checking out Captivating Pageants because I don't know. For me, it was a really, really great experience. So thank you for following on, listening to my journey. If you have any questions, shoot me a DM. I'm happy to answer them for you. Otherwise, we'll be back next week. Have a great day. You deserve it.